On the low with Yadolo, we have a special guest today. She's a big deal. She's humble, but she's a big deal. What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Naomi Glay, and I am Liberian, but I was raised in Kansas City, Missouri, and currently live in Atlanta.
For those who may not know you yet, who is Naomi Glay in your own words?
Naomi Glay is one with resilience, one who is adventurous, and one who is an extrovert and a loving person to everyone she knows.
Okay. When people see you today, what's something they don't see about your journey?
I think a lot of people, when they see me today, they don't realize the amount of adversity that I've gone through to be where I am. And we thank God I look nothing like what I've been through. So I think that would be what I would say.
Take me back to your upbringing. What was life like growing up?
It was interesting. I think it was a strange dynamic in a sense of I was being raised by an African mother. So we were learning the system together, essentially. And then I had a younger brother, and it just kind of developed from there where my mother, my dad, my siblings, and then eventually my other siblings came from Liberia to join us. So it was an interesting dynamic growing up in America, but then being raised by all of these different cultural dynamics in this country.
What was the difference in growing up in America and back home?
So I actually was born and raised here. So
Okay.
I don't have that experience of being raised in Liberia, but I've traveled there several times.
Okay. How did your Liberian background shape your identity?
Oh, it plays a major role in my identity. I mean, the way that I cook, the way that I dress, the way that I care for people. I think all of those definitely tie back to my upbringing.
Okay. I know your mother played a big role in your life. What kind of influence did she have on you growing up?
She was the influence. Again, I was her first child in America, so it was that dynamic of us learning the system together. Just, I mean, from everything. Like, I think she literally took all of her roots from Liberia and then put it on me, but still trying to navigate me living in a new society.
What are some values she instilled in you that you still carry today?
To be kind, to be kind to people. I think even because me and my mom, we did a trip to Liberia in 2022.
Nice.
And it was a different experience because that was her first time going in 30 something years, but I had gone there at that time like 10 times. And she was kind to the driver. She let the driver eat with us. She let the security, made sure that the security people had food. And I had never really experienced that, my 10 times of me going. So just to show you how kind that she is, that no matter who a person is, if they're the person sweeping the floor, if they're someone who's high up, just to be kind.
Indeed. I wanted to get into your pageant and your global exposure. How did you get into pageantry?
Honestly, pageantry, it was really just God, to be honest with you. I did do one pageant when I was younger. I was like 6 years old, and I ended up winning like third runner up. And my parents actually still have that trophy at the house today. But that was when I was 6. Fast forward to Miss Liberia USA. It was really just God. He just kind of put me in a position to go after. It wasn't something that I desired. I had a cousin reach out to me and say, "Oh, you should do this pageant." And I was like, "What pageant it is?" Reached out to the director. Then the director said, "Oh, we already have a candidate for New York, but you can do Georgia." And at that time, Georgia never had a pageant. They didn't have any queens. And so that's how they allowed me to just get the title Miss Liberia, Georgia. I didn't have to compete for it, anything. They then connected me to my pageant coach, Bella. And
Shout out to Bella.
yes, and then we had 30 days to make me into Miss Liberia USA.
Being the first to do that, what did that moment feel like for you?
Um, the first to do that in my family, I guess.
In Georgia, as far as represent on a international stage?
Oh, because okay, so that was the national level, and then I went to Japan
Okay.
for the Miss International pageant. It was a lovely thing, honestly. It really, it's something that I'm glad that I was able to experience. I was able to connect with women from all across the world. There was about 82 women from various countries. So being able to connect with them, learn their culture, and then also represent Liberia was truly amazing.
Okay. What did it mean to represent Liberia on the international stage in Japan?
Yeah, I mean, just similar to what I just said, it's just that it was such an amazing experience to be able to represent my country on such a level, and then allow other women from other countries take a little bit of Liberia with them as they were able to experience Liberia through me.
Okay. What are some of the bonuses in winning Miss Liberia?
That's a great question. I would just say really the network. Honestly speaking, I think that would probably be the biggest thing that I got. I was able to gain so many friends, so many different connections that I wouldn't have ever gained had I not won that pageant.
Do we have a lot of participation from the ladies in Georgia trying to um, to be in the pageant?
Well, Georgia does have the most crowns, as far if that's what you're asking. But as far as, because Miss Liberia USA is a US based organization for Liberian women who are interested in representing the country. So we do have people who are interested, but we would love for more people to be interested and involved in it. Obviously, the more people that compete, the more people that show interest, the greater the prizes are, the greater the outcome will be.
Okay. Do they have any competitions coming up?
Yes, we actually have our 20th anniversary of the Miss Liberia US pageant coming up this July 24th, I believe. So for July 26th, and it will be hosted here in Atlanta.
Okay. Okay. So I wanted to get into your real estate plus purpose. What led you into real estate?
Yeah, again, it's just one of those things. Everything that I've done has kind of been purpose driven or God driven. So it wasn't something that I said, hey, I want to do this today. It was definitely something that God kind of introduced to me. And what happened was I used to have all these odd and end jobs when I first moved to Georgia.
Right.
Like literally, I like moved out here with like $500. And so had all these different little small jobs. And one day I was selling cheese at Publix. And this lady came up to me and was like, hey, you know, what's the cheese? And I was like, well, are you hiring? And so essentially she ended up, I sold the spread to her. I was like, oh, this is our smoked Gruyere. This is our hickory smoked ham, all of these things. And then she was like, come to my office. And so the next day I came to her office and she hired me. And so that was for a property management job. Being in property management, I was there for like a year. And then I was like, you know what? I'm making like $100 per each person that's moving into this apartment. Why don't I start selling houses? And then it just kind of took me back to the time where, you know, my parents, they wanted to live the American dream and we were in a house, and the adversities that we had encountered while there, it was like, you know what, Naomi, you could take this to the next level. So it wasn't until 2020 where I got back from Japan, didn't have any work because I quit my job to compete in this pageant. And then the world ended. And when the world ended, well, it didn't necessarily end, but the pandemic happened. And yeah, so then at that point in time, I decided to study for my real estate exam, and that's how I got my real estate license.
Very nice. What makes your approach different from others in the industry? As far as
I think it would just be coming from an approach of empowerment. Like I always want to ensure that all of my clients are empowered and educated in some degree, in all degrees, I should say. But then also, I always go to war for my clients, and I think every client can attest to that. Like, I'm not just one of those agents who are like, oh, let's just sign the contract, this and that. Like, if you're able to get a discount, if you're able to get more closing costs, I'm definitely looking into that for you.
What were some of the biggest challenges when you first started to get into real estate?
I think the biggest challenge was when I had a job, and trying to do both real estate part-time and then working a full-time job. That was kind of difficult. And so, yeah, I think once I got fired from my job and was able to focus on real estate, that probably was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Okay. I wanted to talk about your entrepreneurship and impact. When did you realize you were more than just a realtor? You were a builder of brands.
I think I've always kind of known that I was a builder, like, or an entrepreneur, even from when I was like young. Because there was one time, like, we lived in this apartment community when we were younger, and I just remember like gathering all the kids in the yard and saying, "Oh, let's sell these pop cans. Let's get the pop cans and we'll make them into belts and we can sell it to door to door, door to door." So I've kind of always had that entrepreneurship spirit in me.
Okay. I wanted to talk about Power Talk. What inspires you to create Power Talk?
Yeah, so Power Talk is my nonprofit. We've been doing that since 2018. It's a panel discussion event where we discuss social and taboo topics with the focus on mental health. So we talk about sexual abuse, we talk about financial literacy, we talk about grief, we talk about all of those different things. But what originally started it was I used to model, and I wanted a space where we could have those uncomfortable conversations when it comes to being in that fashion industry. So we talked about, photographers, excuse me, photographers doing things that they're not supposed to, and the pressures that society puts on us when we are modeling.
What impact do you want to leave through your platforms?
That's a great question. I think the impact that I would want to leave is that I cared, and also if I could make it, you can make it too. Again, like I said, there's been a lot of things that I have gone through, and a lot of the topics that we talk about in Power Talk are basically based off of something that I've lived. And if I've been able to conquer, no matter how difficult and how hard it is.
How do you stay grounded while building so much, and how do you make sure your mental health is good?
Honestly, again, I just give all the praise to God. And then also having a great support system, I think, is necessary to keep your mental health strong. It's not easy, and not every day is roses and peaches and cream. It's difficult, but you just put one foot in front of the other.
Do you have a strong support system with you, around you?
I have a decent support system. I mean, could it be better? Yeah, but you just thank God for the people that you do have.
Exactly. Okay. I want to talk about your evolution and your mindset right now. How has your mindset evolved from who you were growing up to who you are today?
I mean, that's a great question. I've evolved drastically. I mean, I think that, as someone, I've evolved drastically, but I will say the constant is I've always been a dreamer. So I would say that would be a constant that hasn't changed one bit. But as you get older, you do start having doubts and you do start having fears, versus when you're younger, there are no consequences. And so I would definitely say that it's still the same, just with a little bit more cautiousness.
What does success mean to you now?
Success means happiness. It means peace. It means, of course, your goals, and everyone has like that financial goal and things like that. But for me, it's like true happiness and peace, being able to live a life of freedom, living a life of, no worries.
What keeps you going on the days that it gets hard?
I would say what keeps me going is One, obviously, my mother, that keeps me going, but then also just the things that I've told myself. That's what keeps me going, is if I told myself that I'm going to do this, I know that I am going to have to do this to satisfy myself.
You've spoken about how important your mother was in your life. Can you share what that relationship meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for everyone actually, but me and my mother, we were best friends. So it was an extremely important relationship and has molded me into the woman I am today. So we just thank God that I was able to experience and have a mother who I was so close to.
In that loss, how did you find purpose moving forward?
I mean, I'm still taking it one day at a time. It's still pretty fresh. So you just take it one day at a time.
I lost my dad in October last year, so I definitely understand.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's good. So I want to talk about the bag line, your bag line. You created a luxury bag line in her memory. What inspired that?
Yeah, like you said, it would be in her memory. So prior to my mother passing, I was actually sick, and she had came down, took care of me, and she seen the big boxes, the box filled with the purses, and she was like, Naomi, you still have these bags? Because I originally wanted to start back in 2020, like 2021, had went to Liberia, grabbed all these bags, had them made, never sold one. And so when she came, she was like, Naomi, like, what's going on here? And I'm like, Mom, I'm sick. Like, is this the time to be like talking to me about bags? So then in March of 2024, she brought it up again, like, oh, Naomi, you really need to sell those bags. And I'm like, Mom, I have Power Talk, I have my real estate, like, it's too much. And then she passed a week later. So it was like she was trying to show me or tell me something. And so that's kind of why I decided to create this, the Jetta collection in her honor.
Okay. What does that brand represent beyond just fashion?
Again, it would be her legacy. I think it's definitely just the Liberian, not even just Liberian, the African culture, and then being raised in the diaspora, but then by an African woman, I think is very important in being able to tell those stories.
Okay. If your mother could see everything you're doing right now, what do you think she would say?
Matata. It's probably what she would say. She would just, be very proud. And I think that I was able to display certain successes prior to her passing. So I kind of got that love and know what she would say. But yeah, she was always proud of me.
Can you give us your website for your bag line?
Yes, it is www.shopcloselook. So it's shopcloselook.com.
Okay. So we have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
One word to describe your mother.
I would say bold.
One lesson she taught you that you'll never forget.
Nothing in life is free.
Legacy or success?
Legacy.
What drives you every day?
My purpose.
And last question, how has your definition of purpose changed through everything you've experienced?
Repeat the question, I'm sorry.
How has your definition of purpose changed through everything you have experienced?
So, I mean, it's still evolving too, but I think my definition of purpose is depending on what my assignment is at that time that God has given me. So my purpose last year is not the same purpose as this year. So I would just define it as something that evolves with what God puts on my heart and spirit.
Okay. And in closing, what do you want to say to the people?
Yeah, so I would just say to just always try your best. It's not easy, but with God's help, you are able to accomplish anything that you want in this life.
Thank you, Naomi, for gracing me today. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Can you give us your social media?
Yes, so my social media is Naomi, NaomiNucia Oh wait, that's it. I almost gave you my email. It's so it's NaomiNucia on all platforms.
Okay. Thank you so much, Naomi.
Thank you.